I mean, those scripts we read were so specific, and Ian has his own voice. I've worked with him on a couple of different things, and he really brought his own voice to these scripts. So once you immerse yourself in his writing, it didn't really seem necessary to go and check what was what, and it's in the book, is it not? It wasn't that type of thing, you know. And like I was saying over there, I mean, I got cast like pretty late in the game, and there wasn't a lot of time to do that for me anyway. But no, yeah.
I'm a big tea drinker, so this gives a whole
Oh, yeah.
meaning to
2 bags. Yeah.
Yes.
That was my nickname on the set, actually. 2 bags, Speedman. Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit how this series has personally influenced you? Maybe that your senses have been heightened, maybe your paranoia has been heightened.
I mean, for me, I wouldn't say that's my takeaway from doing something like this. I was really excited just by the whole process of the show. Some shows you do work, and some shows you don't. And this one had all the elements that we all got along really well. By the end, it felt like a summer camp kind of vibe, and we were all sequestered in Georgia all together doing this crazy show, which was a really challenging show to make, but it was a really fun show to do. So I don't know. I was just really happy. It's hard for all the elements to come together, and in this one, they really felt like they did. So it was exciting for me.
Same thing I would piggyback off of Scott here is just working with everybody, having a good time. Even though the subject's a bit dark, we still have a wonderful time. And has it affected? Not really. Just the sense of just having a blast, making fun.
So you mentioned about the darkness of the show. What's it like doing a kind of horror-esque, kind of spooky kind of show? Like, is it hard to act where you're always like intense?
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. And we had a lot of laughs on the set, so when it gets too serious, there was busting jokes. It kind of lightens the mood, but for me, no, not so much.
But doing dark, yeah, I mean, it is dark, but there was a lot of times it was a lot of levity, a lot of fun. I mean, we all were out at this farm hanging out and having a good time, and you sort of, by the end, you were so immersed in the story and you understood your character, especially in episodes 6, 7, and 8, and you understood what was going on. You'd be doing this super intense scene during the take, and then be laughing for 2 minutes between, and then jumping back in and being able to vacillate between the two things. So I think that's probably from working a lot and doing a lot. You try not to take this kind of stuff home, and I think it actually lends itself better to the projects.
So how do you get into the mindset of these characters for this production?
It's the actors. I mean, working with Scott and Yvonne, all the cast, it's helping you believe in that situation and believe in the characters. It's the writing, it's all that. And just the prep, what I usually do is I make like a playlist for certain songs that tap into emotions. A lot of the times it has nothing to do with the scene whatsoever. And I do my own homework, but when you come in for a collaboration like this, it was just a fun project to do, and we all pulled it off.
Yeah, I don't know, prep-wise, I mean, it was, playing a very, very, very average guy, so it wasn't a lot of stretch that way for me. A family man, a father, works at the local high school. It was kind of just, getting the character together and then jumping in with 2 feet and, letting the writing and the directing sort of help you along as you go. So there wasn't a ton of prep on that.
Chaske, you're both, no strangers to thrillers as well as gothic horror, kind of. Getting into this genre of horror, how was it for you as far as the preparation compared to other genres of film?
I mean, for me, it's really not that much different. I mean, if you're doing something lighter on television, you go and sort of just try to have fun, not think about it too much. And on this one, really honestly, when it goes back to the writing and when I read those first three episodes, I knew that this had the right tone and feel and vibe of the show. So that part was done. I mean, as long as we had competent directors to get that sort of tone and feel on screen, we were going to be in good shape. But it's my favorite, when this genre works, I think that's why we're all here, not just at this table, but at this convention, it kind of flies off the screen, and it can be really audience friendly. When it doesn't, it's always disappointing, and I really felt like these scripts really had that sort of weird element where it was like, wow, if we can get this on screen, it's going to work really well.
So what would you say were your favorite moments from filming? Anything that really stood out?
I mean, the stuff that my favorite was, we had to ride horses.
Yeah.
We had to learn how to ride horses. They told me about I was riding a horse, and before I drove from LA to Atlanta. And before I left, I was like, Ian, is a horse thing? He's like, no, it's not a big deal. And then So I drove there, and by the time I got there, something had happened because it became a very big deal, where I found myself like shooting 12 hours, and then we were doing a lot of night shoots, sleeping from 7 to 10, and then driving 2 hours to go like do a hour and a half horse lesson. It was like a whole ordeal, but I loved that, and we got to do some horse stuff, which was really cool and fun, and that part of it was great. And some of the other fun stuff was like later in the series. I'm not allowed, I've been sworn to secrecy of, but they are the more dramatic, really emotional, really painful parts of the show, but they all just went really well. So I'm as excited that you guys probably saw the first 2, 3, 4 episodes, but really the show sort of takes off as we go into 5, 6, 7, 8. It just gets crazier and wilder and wilder. So I'm excited for people to see that. Thank you.
Now, as I understand it, James Wan is one of the executive producers.
Yeah.
James Wan is one of the
Yes,
executive
yes,
producers.
I think so. Is that true? Yeah.
Was he hands-on? Did he put his imprint on the show? Did the show apply some of his?
No, he was not hands-on. This was Ian's show. He was definitely, around to give notes and think about it and talk about it. I'm sure Ian and him had a really good relationship, but this was really Ian's baby from the beginning. So we'll see.
Did he come to set?
I didn't
see him.
No.
Okay, thank you.
You guys talked about the dynamic between your two characters.
I mean, are we allowed to talk about the dynamic?
Dynamic.
Well, yeah. I mean, we are forced. We are not on the same page at the beginning of the show at all. I've been a bad boy and been a bad boy to him, and that comes back to haunt me. But we're forced to kind of work together, and we have to. And him being the badass that he is pretty intimidating.
Nothing like what I am in real life.
Well, that's the fun part. He's a goofball. He's like, we'll have the best time, and then we get on a horse, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, is this guy going to kick the shit out of me? So that part was really fun. I mean, it was a lot to play there, and like, that's what you're always looking for. Is there enough in this scene to get you through the scene? Is the writer set up and the director set up enough for you guys to have this dynamic that's going to be, jump through the screen? And it was really there, so that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun working with Scott. It was just great working, throwing the ball
Yeah.
back and forth.
And we have time for one last question.
What are you most excited for sort of horror fans to see with this? How scary does it go? And for non-horror
I'm
fans
probably,
as well?
for me, I'm like I was saying earlier, I'm excited that the genre elements came into play, and like whatever happens as we go from 5, 6, 7 into 8. But really, I really believe that the audience is going to be blown away by how emotional the show gets and how rooted in these characters and how much they care about the characters as well as the genre elements. I think that's going to be the thing that people really take away from.
It's more character-driven. I'm more character-driven.
How scary does it get?
Pretty scary. I think the audience is going to like it.
Yeah, I think, that's all there. That's all there.